Good evening, good evening. How's it going, everyone? Leave it on the... Hello, hello. How's it going? You alright? What's going? What's good, everyone? How are we doing? We're doing good. What's the weather like for everyone? We've got some heavy rainfall here. It's been quite a lot of rain coming out. Let's go. Have you guys taken any trades today? I haven't actually taken any today. I'm gonna look now. I know gold is doing a lot. So we're gonna look into that and sort of see what we can come up with. I have been quite bearish on gold. Like yesterday, I caught some nice sells on gold, and obviously now we've ripped to the upside. So there is that. But yeah, we're gonna see what we can do. I just lost my account. Oh no, that's. Did you lose it on gold or what happened? It's never nice to hear. I just need to love. I don't wanna know.
I don't know who needs to hear this.
I'm just busy sorting out something, and I'll share my screen, and we'll have a look at gold. No news events today, so we're all good in that front. We'll know more, should I say? But yeah, look. Unfortunately, today's massive move on gold. I mean, you couldn't have really foreseen that happening. If I didn't hit take profit, I still would have been holding my sells. So it's difficult. It's difficult to say, oh, you should have done this, should have done that. It is difficult, so I understand. So let's have a look here. Share my screen. Obviously, guys, this is all my own. This isn't financial advice. This is just, my thoughts on what's happening. Crypto, we've seen a bit of a pump on the crypto scene. Actually, be a good idea to check my crypto quickly. Yeah, nothing in terms of like moving funds or anything, but yeah, we've seen some nice moves on crypto. For the day, I'm up, quite a bit for the day, which is good.
Who needs to hear this?
Let me go over to my meta and let's go over to gold. So for gold, you see we had this monstrous move here. The crypto is to shit. I like to see gold come to fall before considering to buy again. Yeah. I believe 4798. Where is your 4798? Yeah, potentially. But I think for me, like yesterday, I took these sales. I held it for quite a long time. I think for me personally, I was bearish because of everything that's going on with the you know news that has sort of with the ceasefire has sort of backfired, and I expected gold to sort of drop a bit as we saw the stock market really get flushed with a lot of news. But yeah, I mean, technically, right now we could potentially see some sales. Um, as I say though, it's not financial advice. Um, just so you know. But yeah, we could potentially see some sales. What's everyone else's opinion on gold at the moment? Looking at the higher time frames, we know that we've had this massive impulse today, but what has this impulse done? We've grabbed this liquidity that's here, so there was resting liquidity here. This has already been grabbed, but we've grabbed this liquidity. We're now rejecting. So on the 4 hour, if we can see a nice rejection on the 4 hour, that would be great. Um, we can look on the 1 hour, and yeah, so I'm currently in profits. Actually caught a nice little move there, to be fair. I don't know if I can show you. Let's see. I did enter a position. But yeah, I'm going to take profit soon. I just like to scalp gold. The war is going to end and gold going higher. Yeah. So potentially, if the war does continue, gold can, we can see gold push. But that being said, it's never guaranteed. I find, especially now that like crypto is becoming more of a standard for countries to keep in their, uh, you know, in their, uh, what's the English word for it now? Um, as they're like, before they would keep the dollar or they would keep gold as like their, financial backing. But now we've seen changes in that. Um, we've seen changes on that front where um, I think it was Japan now recently has agreed that they are going to start keeping XRP in their, um, as like a currency, which is good. But I don't think it's time yet for crypto to really pump. Um, but yeah, do any of you guys hold any crypto or anything like that? Do it on the low. I don't wanna know who take. Yeah, crypto. It's one of those things where like I'll never tell someone to invest into crypto unless you're willing to invest long term. It's like investing into stocks. If you're looking to invest into a stock, so actually just leaving your money in a stock, then you're wasting your time if you think it's going to be a short term thing. Um, but long term, definitely worth investing into stocks. Crypto could be worth, but obviously don't invest into crypto that isn't good. You sort of want to stick to your main cryptos that actually have backing and have a team behind it. But yeah, it's difficult to say. It's difficult to say. Essentially, with crypto, it's you don't really know until it happens. But yeah, for me, I like to diversify my portfolio quite a bit. So invest into stocks, invest into crypto, obviously put money into day trading, and sort of diversify. I think it's just a nice way to stay on top of things, which is good. Do it on the low. Any trade. I'm looking for shorts, potentially. Um, I would say, but I have entered a position, but once again, it's not financial advice. So we're just watching the chart now to see how price reacts. The thing is, it could rip, so I haven't got any size to it at all. Um, But in theory, like we said, we've taken liquidity here. We've now rejected this area. If we look at the 4 hour, this area is quite a nice area that is rejecting from. You can see this high here. This high has not been taken. It has respected this high. So we can even mark this out like this. So you can see this high has not been taken, which is very nice. But we have taken liquidity here. I'll clean this up. So this is the resting liquidity for those who weren't here. So you can see that we have taken some form of liquidity, and yeah, we could potentially see a bit of a move to the downside. How's everyone else's week so far? Have you taken many trades? Have you done anything interesting? Gold is also a good long-term investment play. Yeah. The thing with gold at the moment, like for me, unless you have enough capital where you could actually purchase with reason, um, there isn't. For me personally, wouldn't be investing into gold now. Like actually buying the pair. If you bought ETH 5 years ago, you're in a lose now. Yeah, that's the thing. Like with crypto, it's important to know when to pull out and when to sort of stay in. But yeah, let's get into what I had planned for today. One of the biggest lessons that I wanted to give and talk about is when you start your challenge. So a lot of traders, when they start their challenge, they buy the challenge and they get into a trade. Why? Because you have this urge to be in a trade as soon as possible. So what I would say is when you take your challenge, make sure that you wait for the correct setup. So if you buy your challenge on, let's say, a Friday, don't just take a trade on a Friday. Wait for a good setup. And once you see a good setup, then you can sit looking for trades and getting into them. But I find that so many traders just jump into a trade the minute they buy their account because they have this urge to take a trade. That's why rule-based approach is important. If you have a rule-based approach, you won't just jump into a trade. So what I would suggest is next time you get the challenge, buy it, or if you win it, however you get it, um, take like a day before you take your first trade. So just sit back, take a day, don't trade on the day you get it. Because when you purchase your challenge, or even better yet, if you win your challenge, your dopamine is at like a high. So you are running at a high, your mind is like excited, you are overstimulated, and then you sit there and you're like, okay, I'm going to take a trade. You're not actually looking at the charts with the right, how do we say it? With the right mentality, the right mindset. You're not actually looking at what's happening in the charts or anything. You're not following your plan. You're just jumping into a trade, and it's not really good for your trading. So I'd say next time you get a challenge, definitely start. Just take a day. Take a day. Get the challenge, upload it into your MT5, and then step away from the chart because you don't want to rush it, especially that first trade. Because you can take some B setups and you can take some riskier plays, and there is people that trade like that. They don't just take A plus setups. But I find that the first trade on a challenge is always the most important one. So if you take your first trade and you take a stupid loss, you're kind of setting the tempo for the challenge ahead, and it's not really great for your trading because if you start off on the back foot, it's like you chasing back that loss, and then you start revenge trading and doing, all those things that aren't really good for your trading. Um, and then, that's where problems come in. And I think that the most important thing that you can do is to take your time and make sure that the first setup, especially, is a winning setup. Even if it doesn't necessarily take, or even if you don't take the win on it, or you take the loss, that's not a problem. You want to make sure that the setup itself follows your plan to a T, and you're taking an A plus setup, and that sets the tone for the rest of the challenge. Then you coming into it strong. Let's see what we're saying here. I recently joined and subscribed. Oh, welcome to the channel, man. Really happy to have you. Hello. That's correct. According to which setups works best for you in New York? Breakout, reversal, or continuation? Just depends. Um, it depends on you, man. If your back testing has you, trading more than once a day, then you're fine to trade to multiple times. Personally, if I take a loss in London, I'm okay to trade, New York. Um, but it's just at the end of the day, it's all up to you because you don't want to just jump into trades for the sake of chasing back the loss. But if you are trading because an opportunity has presented itself, then you can definitely trade. How do I handle a missed entry? I would say the simplest way to handle a missed entry is to step away from the charts and wait for another setup. It is tough. It is very tough to take a loss and then still try and chase it back. But in most cases, when you've missed an entry, and the charts go away from you, either what happens is you then enter and you haven't calculated lot size. So now instead of your stop loss being this big, your stop loss is now this big, and your lot size is the same. So you are risking more than double. And if the trade goes against you, then you're taking a bigger loss. So I just want to check here. Gold is moving. Yeah, we're moving quite nicely, guys and girls. But yeah, so with missed entry, it's important that with trading, there's going to be opportunities every day. Every day there's opportunities. It's not one of those things where you're only going to have opportunities once every now and then. You will always have opportunities. The markets are moving so much that there'll always be opportunities there. So if price, let's say, taps into your area and just rips, and you cannot enter that trade, leave it. There's more opportunities to come. You know, that's the nice thing with trading is there's always going to be, tomorrow's a new day. You don't have to take the trade today, and if it does miss your entry and goes to take profit, then you have data. You're like, okay, cool, that setup worked today. Great. And I followed my plan. I didn't just jump in even though I was late. So I would say like the most important thing is if you're looking at, let's say, this entry that I got here. Let's look at the short, right? Let's say I entered up here, price has ripped, right? And let me do a drawing rather. So let's say prices I've entered here, prices ripped. Now we have a pullback. Now all of a sudden, my trade setup that was a 7 to 5, I get in here with this pullback and I keep my stop loss in the same area. Um, and price now goes to take profit. Cool. I've just risked so much to make so little. Or on the other way, price now comes against you. But now what happens when a price starts coming against you is you see your psychology starts to take a toll because you know that you shouldn't have entered here. Your entry model has you entering here. So if price doesn't come back, don't enter. It's an invalid trade. And it does happen, you miss. I mean, especially when you're trying to trade and work at the same time, you do miss entries. It's not uncommon. It becomes very annoying. I do understand it, but I would say that missed entries are going to happen, but there's always more trades around the corner. How do you recover after hitting -3 or 4% drawdown? -3 or 4% isn't massive. If you're hitting that in a day, it is tough. Naturally, you said it's a tough. I would say it is difficult, but you just got to sort of take it inch by inch, trade by trade. Don't start messing around for looking at different lot sizes and stuff. Just think of what you have to do. You need to show up, follow your plan, and take trades. That's all that you have to do. Don't worry about the balance too much. Obviously, it is important, but if you are keeping strict with your risk management, then you're all good. Okay. Price is ripping quite nicely. I think I'm going to move stop loss. I just want to see market structure. Yeah. Quite a volatile little New York session we have here. Yeah, glad to hear. Glad to hear. The giveaway is it classic? No, the giveaway will be for a pro account. It's a 6K Pro that we do for these. Does anyone trade anything else other than gold? Gold isn't, my favorite thing to trade is always Euro USD, Euro USD or Nasdaq, I would say. Um, but I've been liking gold a lot lately, especially with the current market, conditions. Nas 100. Yeah, I do like Nasdaq. Nasdaq was like my first, um how do I say it? It was the first thing I ever traded. So Nasdaq, when I first started trading, obviously like everyone else, I started with signals. Um, with signals, the guy was selling signals for Nasdaq. Horrible signals, but I quickly started to notice like, how the market was moving, and I started picking up like, oh, we're quite volatile every 15 minutes when there's a candle closure. That was just me realizing that that's when the candle closes, and sort of going from there. And I started learning. But yeah, I started with Nasdaq, traded that for like 3 years, and then one day my mate and I, we were having like a back testing night. We were playing around, and he picked a random chart, picked Euro USD, and I realized, hang on, my strategy works really, really well for Euro USD. Why am I trading Nasdaq only? Started trading Euro USD, and yeah, never looked back. Never looked back. Gold, I will trade. I've had a couple strategies for the gold 1 minute that in back testing works immaculate, but in forward testing it just doesn't work. So yeah, I've pretty much been all over the place. Um, and yeah, it's been a full round circle. So buying at 4851. All right, all right. Silver, yeah, silver. It's the spreads can be a bit tough, but yeah, it is good. But I only trade downtrend sell positions on Nasdaq. So actually, right now it's on an uptrend. So I kept aside to it. Okay, that's fair. Why would you say you only trade downtrends? There was when I first started trading Nasdaq, there was a saying where people would say like, if you buy Nasdaq, you're most likely going to take a win. So it's the first I've ever heard someone just trading sols. And I'm not saying wrong or anything. I'm just curious as to why only sols. Obviously, always keen to learn and sort of wrap my head around people's strategies and that. How do you maintain consistency across multiple funded accounts? Consistency, you just have to trade consistent. Um, pretty much simple as. You just have to keep consistent with what's happening. I think especially if, and let me type this out for you. So like, this is how I would normally trade. A consistency rule is, if let's say you need to make $800, all right, or let's say $1,000, and the consistency is 20%. Right, so if you have a 20% consistency rule and you have to make $1,000, how much is that per day? Cool, that's $200 day, right? So now you break it down. I would aim for, because you don't want to go over the 200, so I would aim for 180 days, $180 a day, and you sort of break it down, 180, 180, 180, 180. You go from there. You just start being consistent with it. It's like, consistency rules not the hardest thing to trade around. You just need to be more strict with your targets, and what you make. I don't pay from the canteen. J-Dub, are you? What is the question? Wait, I don't know why. What's your strategy when you're close to target but market conditions are poor sometimes? Very irritating. It never hits. So yeah, it depends. I know it can happen, but at the end of the day, let's say you've got a short position, and let's say my short position had a take profit here, right? Very close, very close, but we never hit. Now it's tough because obviously price is showing that we're gonna hit here, and then we have this sharp impulse move up. Either you close once it starts, making structure to the upside, you can close, or what you can do is hold, because if your take profit level hasn't been hit, then you are wrong. Like I'm not saying it like, oh, you're a bad trader. It's just you're wrong. If your take profit level doesn't get hit, you were wrong. Your conviction was right, so your bias was correct in terms of its selling, but your level where you think price has to hit this level, take profit level, didn't get hit, means you're wrong. So sometimes, especially for Nasdaq, what I would find on Nasdaq is price would often miss my. So if you're trading, let's say you've got the supply and demand or support resistance like levels, I wouldn't target the low sometimes. So I wouldn't target this low. I would target like halfway in between. So that's sometimes something I would do, depending on the setup, because you'll find that when price comes close to certain areas, we start ripping. So it becomes very difficult. Gold setup's looking good though. Probably gonna head off, close out soon. Don't like to trade too long on Friday. I just thought I'd take a little small position while we on the live. I think consistent rules are good for trade. It's like you get gold every day. Yeah. So like if you can trade with a consistency rule, you're able to show that you are a consistently profitable trader and that you can follow rules. It's as simple as that. It is tough. It can be tough at times. Some companies have really, really difficult consistency rules. So yeah, Jada. Sorry, Savannah. Always minus 30 pips to TP. Yeah. So on Nasdaq, I started doing that. I started widening my stops because I would find sometimes I would just touch my stop loss and then come down. So I started widening the stops and then also making sure that my take profit is a little bit open, a little bit shorter. And I found that it worked. It worked for me at least, which is good. So we're gonna. What are you guys thinking of the new and improved pricing for real funded? If two perfect setups appear in opposite directions, how do you resolve conflict? So if you have two perfect setups that appear at the same time, it means that your strategy is telling you not to trade, because you shouldn't. In order to take a setup, you need to have a directional bias, and if you have two setups that are showing, you don't have directional bias. This is gold. Yeah, this is gold. So I took a small short position. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to take profit soon. So um, I'm not holding this for long because it's a Friday and we've had a very, very volatile um, day so far. So I don't want to get caught on the wrong side of any of these trades. I don't pray for love. I don't pray for love. Very gloomy day in South Africa. The weather is atrocious at the moment. Where's everybody from? India. Ah, lovely. What's the weather like in India now? Afghanistan, very nice. How many hours do you spend analyzing before? So the thing is with me, I don't spend a lot of time when I actually am taking a trade. Where I spend my time is I analyze over the weekend. So I know what's happening with the markets in terms of the economics. I know everything. I do make a video of this on our YouTube every Saturday. We post a video. It's about a 10-minute video where I talk about everything that's happening, and then I go over what I'm looking for in the charts. So my bias in terms of direction is there, and we don't have to and I don't have to spend a lot of time in terms of getting my bias, reading the news, and everything like that. I stay on top of that. So for me, when I come to the markets, I can see my setups playing out in real time very quickly. So I would say, like, I came here with you guys, and I took a few minutes, I entered my trade, and I was in and out. Like, it was in within a split second, I'd say. So yeah, it just depends. Pakistan, very nice. How long do you guys take when you normally analyzing the charts? Do you sit there for like a couple hours? Or I think it's also important if you take a trade and or you come to the markets and you don't see anything, then just step away. A lot of times people sit there waiting for an opportunity to present itself, which eventually, if you look at something long enough, you're gonna see something, but it might not actually follow your plan, and you'll only realize this afterwards. So I definitely say that you need to make sure when trading, if you don't see something, then rather step away. That would be the best piece of advice I can give. I think Monday opened with a huge gap. Hard to tell. Hard to tell. I only trade gold on MT5. Yeah, we do have MT5 with us. We currently have MT5. Yeah, in terms of gaps, I'll be honest with you. Like, obviously, there is ways to see what's happening. Like over the weekend, there is certain aspects. I have certain people that I can chat to and ask, what gold is doing, especially over the weekend. But in terms of predicting gaps, so like entering your trades at midnight, it's difficult because the thing is, obviously, like when there's a war that's happening or something breaks out and markets closing, layer your positions, fair enough. But if you 100% know, but it's very difficult. Like these traders think, oh yeah, like with NFP, they're like, no, there's going to be a spike first and then it's going to sell, or spike first and then it's going to buy. It's very difficult to predict what's going to happen within that certain time. So with trading, like it's difficult to predict when something's going to happen unless you know what's happening with the economic side of things. But what I would say the most important thing is just to know what parameters the market's going to stay in that current moment. So if you know that your entries here, take profits here, stop loss there, your stop loss is okay. I don't see price going past this, and if price does go past this level, then my bias is incorrect, right? That's number one. Number two, your take profit is okay. I see the market trending in this direction or going in this direction, pulling back, whatever your reasoning is, but my take profit level is a point in the market where I'm very certain price is going to pull through, right? So it's difficult to say like, price is going to take. I'm going to trade now. Price is going to hit my take profit within 5 minutes. I don't know. I don't know. There's no way to know. Like you can close early, you can trade for a certain period of time, but price will do what price wants to do. Don't put a time on it. Like these people that enter a trade and it's then price goes in their direction straight away and they're like, oh, sniper entry, sniper entry. Fair enough, great entry, cool. But that being said, like seeing drawdown isn't a bad thing. If you're in drawdown and it hasn't hit your stop loss, your analysis is correct because your stop loss is where if price goes past that, then you think, okay, cool, this trade is invalid. And I think that's where people get wrong. Do it all alone. Done for the week. Did you trade on Nas? I do. I do trade Nasdaq. I trade Nasdaq. I trade. Okay, I'm just taking profit. Not a bad little entry. Not too bad. So I trade Nasdaq. I trade Euro USD, and I trade gold. I've been trading gold quite a bit recently. Like this week, I've traded gold quite a bit. I would think that gold is very nice for me to trade at the moment because of market conditions. So this is the one position that I took this week on gold. Very nice position, very easy. We're in a downtrend, and as you can see, it was a long trade, and I had a bit of size on this one. So we eventually started the trade off, looked great. We looked like we were bearish, and then started to consolidate in this area. Once we broke out, this was a fake out, and then started to create momentum to the downside. I took profit here. Price obviously did pull back, and then we saw a bit of a low, and then we made our way up. But overall, happy with the trade. I didn't try and jump in to catch this extra move or anything. I just stuck to my guns, took my profit, and I left. And it was a very nice trade. Single week, Nas pushing 2,000 points. Yeah, so S&P 500 and Nasdaq this week has been very, very, very bullish. Obviously, we've actually seen S&P 500 break all-time highs, which is good. So we've got the dollar, which is currently down. Where is my S&P 500? I don't have it on my chart anymore. So we've got the S&P 500. We broke all-time highs, which is massive. We've seen a lot of stocks flip bullish this week. As we can see, price is still bullish. But yeah, it was a big week. And if you look now at like the lower time frames, you can see that there's not a lot of sign that we're going to pull down. It might rally still for quite some time. Literally within this live, we've been close to the highs. So yeah, it's a big opportunity. A lot of people are jumping to the trades and sort of making smart plays. But I don't think it's a permanent thing. In my opinion, I wouldn't be looking at it like permanently. But yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of movement. We've seen S&P hit all-time highs. The crypto market is moving. The dollar is dropping. But yeah. Okay, I think let's jump into the giveaway. giveaway spin wheel. So we'll do it the same as last time. Everybody that's in the chat, drop your name, and we shall put it in. So we have 8 people. Just put your name once. Don't layer your name, just once. No, so put your, sorry guys, just put your YouTube name, please, just so we have the YouTube name. Fizo. Okay. Asutosh Sarangi. Big Miles. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 6. We're missing a few names. So we've got J. Oh yeah, J and Fizo are 1. That's why. So we've got J, Fizo. We've got 7. Kirti Ranjan. Okay, any names missing? Got him. Big Miles. We've got Kirti Ranjan 854. All right. He is removed. No, he's not removed. Who's removed? Oh, he's saying I have. Yeah. So anybody else? Put your name. Let's get some names, guys. We are missing 3 still. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're missing 2. Do it on the phone. Okay, we're gonna give a few seconds, and then we'll do the wheel. Baby, I don't wanna know. Can take it. Okay, no one wants to add their names. No problem. Let's see who's this week's winner. Let's type W's in the chat if you're excited. Let's hear W's in the chat. Harshit, you're still in here. So it's the Titan investor. The Titan investor. Cool. Seems like we got everyone. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's type it. Boom. Let's go. Savannah. We've got our winner. We've got our winner, ladies and gentlemen. So just Savannah, you'll have to open a Discord. In the Discord, you obviously have to just prove that you own the YouTube. And then from there, we will issue your account. Congratulations on winning the 6K. And yeah, that'll be us for today. We'll be back again next week with another live. And we'll do more. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the little bit of the lesson that I sort of gave about starting your challenge. And yeah, if you have any questions next week, we'll go live again. And we'll see everyone in the next one. Cheers, guys. Hope you have a good weekend. And yeah, enjoy the new prices on Real Funded. As you know, they're quite a bit lower at the moment. They will be staying that way, which is great. So make use of it. And everyone else, hope you have a great day. Cheers.